Welcome to 216, a link to the Past Randomizer podcast. I am your host, Fear Agent. On today's show, we've got Magnohato. Magno is a member of the German community and someone who's had a really big rise within the ranks of winning. Finished second place in the league this last season with his team, Brogar and Tam, and has just done really well. But that's actually not what caught my attention with Magno. What caught my attention is his commentary and his approach to the game with his friend Brogar, which we touch on during the conversation. So really excited to have Magno on the show, and I hope you enjoy it. It's a good one. The 216 Cross Keys co-op tournament has finished its group stages. Team Trarig, which is Scholzer and Teto, finished 6-0, so GG's to them. They're facing off against Nick Hera Basement Cage, which is Telethar and Humbug. Their first race is actually Monday, the day that this is releasing. So check that out. We are broadcasting the brackets over on Speed Gaming. And then in second place was Jimmy and Jim Jang, which is Allison and Goomba. Really strong team. And they're taking on the Marty carry, which is Zelga and Dr. Marty. They had game one on Saturday, and Jimmy and Jim Jang, Allison and Goomba took game one. They're also playing game two on Monday, the day this releases. So again, Speed Gaming is the place to go to check out these bracket races. They are best of three. And it's been a ton of fun. I hope everyone had a good time with the group stages. It feels like everyone had a good time. Chronic back pain, that's me and Moogle, finished 3-3. Definitely could have gone 4-2 and maybe even 5-1 if things had gone our way a little bit better. But regardless of our record, we had so much fun. Even afterwards, chatted like, let's just play cross keys whenever we ever get a chance to. Like, not even a race. It doesn't have to be an async. Just whenever we get a chance to play, let's do it because it's so much fun. So it was a blast getting a chance to finally team with Moogle in something. We never teamed in the league before, and that's really the only opportunity to team up with people in the community until the upcoming co-op tournament that's happening at the end of this month. So yeah, I'm really glad to finally be able to play with Moogle, and we had a really good time. It's so much fun. Like, also our rise from where we started to where we ended was pretty huge. Like, at first we were having a tough time communicating and just kind of putting all the pieces together. And it was tough. And I know both of us were kind of like, oh no, are we in trouble? But we just put in the time. We played a bunch of asyncs and had fun. Like, the record didn't even mean anything. We just had so much fun playing. So the feedback that I've gotten so far has been really, really good. Feels like everyone had a good time playing. I think the async thing was good for this tournament. The no restream in the group stage was also big. It just allowed players to play the game when they're able to play. And scheduling with 4 people is tough. So this is a perfect tournament for asyncing or having the option to async. We really wanted people to do live races, but sometimes it just doesn't happen. So we have people all over the world, schedules are tough. So yeah, I think the async thing really worked out. And having Jem and Sigma and Claremouth helping proctor races made everything go really, really smooth. So shout outs to them. I have no complaints. I think the tournament went really well and can say that pretty confidently we'll see this one back. When? I don't know, but it'll be back because co-op cross keys is just so much fun. So check out those top 4 matches over on Speed Gaming. Speedgaming.org/216 co-op is the site that has the entire schedule, or you can join the Discord. 216pod.com has the links to the Discord. And we've got everything in the events tab there. So we'll follow along in this bracket stage and see who comes out victorious. And then if the winners want to come on the show, we'll have them on the show. So that will be fun too. What else is going on? Okay, so I think when you have an addiction, you need to admit when you have an addiction. I have an addiction to Baldur's Gate 3. The game is too damn good, man. Like, I've played it and completed it now 7 times. The first time was just trying to figure out the whole thing because I'd never played a Baldur's Gate game. I'd never played a CRPG before. A lot of learning went into that. That was on the balance mode. Then I beat it on Tactician, which was like a higher level. And again, I learned a lot of stuff playing Tactician. Then they came out with Honor mode, and I beat it on Honor mode. And then I beat it with the Dark Urge. I think that was on Tactician. And then the next playthrough was like Honor mode. But I wanted to complete as much of the game as I could. Like, I wanted to leave like no stone unturned. And so by the end of the game, I did like almost, and I say almost everything because even through my 7th playthrough, I'm still finding new stuff, which is just bananas. You think after playing it 7 times complete, you'd see everything. There was stuff in the 7th game that was still new to me. And that is nuts. It's just completely nuts that could happen. The latest playthrough took me a couple of different attempts because I only used 2 people in my party. You normally play with 4 people in your party. I only wanted to use 2. I got too good at the game. 4-player honor mode was just too easy. Like Act 3, the final act of the game, was just too easy. So I wanted to up the challenge, and I didn't think I could do solo. I know I've seen a bunch of online videos of people doing solo. There's a couple different streamers that I follow that have done solo. I didn't think I could get there yet. So I did 2 players. I did a unique character that you create in the beginning. And then I partnered up with Lazelle. If you're familiar with the game, you'll know who she is. She's a Githyanki fighter. And I didn't multi-class her. So I made her a 12-level fighter. 12 levels is the highest you can get in Baldur's Gate. I played as a drow monk rogue. So I go 8 levels into monk and 4 levels into rogue. I had no actual spellcasters, and the game was tough. It was tough in the beginning. The beginning of the game is actually the hardest part of the game, especially with 2 players, because you have such low HP and can run into some things that are just a little bit difficult for 2 party players. With 4, I had no problem on honor mode, but 2 was a little tough. So I think I died, I want to say like 3 or 4 times. And in honor mode, you don't get to reload your save. So if your party dies, your game is over. You can't reload your saves if something happens. You just get 1 save, and if your party dies, it's done. You can continue on in a custom mode, but you can't continue in honor mode. Some real dumb stuff killed me. It was stuff that shouldn't have killed me, but I did finally beat it. And once I got to the 3rd act, it was just too easy. Like I was like kind of nervous about some of the bosses in the end, and I just never took any damage. My character was just so overpowered that it was, even with 2 players, it was just too easy at the end. And here's where the addiction comes. I downloaded a Divinity Original Sin and Divinity Original Sin 2, which is the 2 games that Larian Studios, who made BG3, made previously. And Divinity Original Sin 2 really looks a lot like Baldur's Gate 3. So I wouldn't dive into it, but now I want to go back and kind of do a solo run. The addiction is real. The addiction is real, is all I'm saying. The game is so good. It's unlike anything that I've played in the past. And I'm sure there's other people that have played a lot of other games that are similar to Baldur's Gate 3. They're going to say like, yeah, it's not as unique as you think it is. But for me, it's been eye-opening and a revelation. I just love it so much that I've put way too many hours into it. The addiction is real. I've been playing a little bit of rando, mostly co-op, but whenever I play a solo seed, I always just get super frustrated. I'm like, why am I doing this? So I did join the co-op tournament with Ramond. We'll see how that goes. Excited to team up with Ramond. We teamed up last season in the league, or 2 seasons ago now. And we had a lot of fun when we were practicing retrants, which I think we only got to do 1 or 2 times. We did the 2 in the regular season, and I think once in the playoffs. But hopefully we get some co-op cross keys. That's kind of what we're looking forward to. But we'll be excited to do some co-op AD with him in that co-op tournament, which is coming up here shortly. So excited for that. I could talk about Baldur's Gate 3 for like ever. Like Monk is easily my favorite class. The things that you can do with Monk is just bananas. But I kind of want to step out. Like if I do my solo run, I think I want to play Paladin, which I think is the most popular class. Druid is the one class that I've had almost 0 interactions with and know the least about. So maybe I do something like that where I play a class that I'm not really familiar with. I don't really love playing spellcasters. I did have a playthrough as a warlock. That was a lot of fun. I don't know. We'll see. Let's get to the show. Magno's on the show. Again, super excited to have him. We had a really fun conversation. Let's just get to it. Here's Magno. Dude, you almost won the league this year.
Yep.
Well, hold on. Like, before we even like really get into it, like, when did you get so good at the game? I feel like your rise to the game was like super, super quick. Or am I wrong? Have you been playing for longer than I'm imagining?
I mean, I've been grinding in the last couple of years. But yeah, I mean, it was a weird tournament where like the pugs already like got kicked out really early, and there was many very close matchups, and some underdogs maybe got a little bit further than expected. Maybe
I think expected. It's hard to call people underdogs in the Invitational League, but like I would say that I mean a lot of teams that people expected to go further didn't go further. Like the Drifters lost in the first round. You know, we lost to Don't Forget the Trackus, which again, I'm not saying that we shouldn't have lost to them, but I think people expected us to win. You know, the Pugs got knocked out in the first round.
Yeah, I think there's many matchups that could go either way. Like Infinity and Pogor could have lost to Beast from the East, maybe. Yeah, I mean, many coin flip matchups, and sometimes it's just how it goes.
Yeah, but I mean, to make it to the finals, that had to feel pretty good.
Oh yeah, that was a great tournament. In the end, my controller got a little bit bad in terms of like my battery. I have to play wireless with my PlayStation controller because the USB connection is very wonky, and if I just move a tiny bit, I lose connection, and then emulator can crash. So
that sucks.
I played on Bluetooth, and
yeah,
I had many controller issues because I switched the rubbers kind of frequently, and then some kind of electricity problem turned on or came up, and it wouldn't charge. So I had to play on cable the entire time.
Oh no, that's
and with that weird USB connection, I lost connection a few times. So I was not on my top controller game, you could say. And in the end, I was only piloting in the semifinals and in the finals. I only had the pilot game.
Yeah, you didn't play any other game except for pilot?
In the last two matchups, no.
What do you think about that? Because I kind of had that same situation where it's like, I'm not really even playing rando anymore. I'm just piloting. Do you enjoy that aspect, or do you feel like, man, kind of missing out that you don't get to play the game?
Nah, it's fine. I mean, I was set for game 3, and I was really ready for it, and I didn't feel like that was such a big handicap. It was just a little bit in your mind. Like I could play. I did play a lot of ladder in the time, and it's not like I could only do pilot and I'm sitting here 24/7 just practicing pilot. No, but I really like Spoiler Key Sanity. It's a lot of fun. I don't think I'm a really, really, really good pilot, but it makes a lot of fun. And I think in our matchup, or in our lineup, I would say, that was like the best combo that we had. The powerhouses, Tam and Brogo, doing like the AD co-op thing, and I would do Spoiler with Tam. And after that, it's or for the entrance mode, it's Brogo and me. So I think that was a really good combo.
I mean, it went pretty well, I would say. Where did you guys finish in your division? First,
yeah.
11-3. Wow, that's quite a season. This is your second season with the team, right?
Second season with Potato Pouch. We had Teto with us, with Brogo and me in the season 4. We went 7-7. That was also kind of nice for first season.
Wow. Yeah, just constantly improving.
Yeah, in season 5, we got knocked out by Zelga and his team, by the Eastern Skippers, with, again, many close matchups. Like, I lost to Shady Force by a minute in casual boots. I mean, that can happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tam lost twice, once to Zelga and once to Shady, both also really close.
Yeah, I mean, your whole team's really good. Tam is an exceptional runner.
Yeah, and Brogar has been improving a lot as well. Yeah.
Are you related to Brogar at all? I know this is a weird assumption, but you guys, it just feels like you go hand in hand. It's like you get Magno and Brogar, or you get Brogar and Magno.
So we both live in the northern part of Germany, but it's like 2 hours from door to door, using train. And I visited him quite a lot, and we've been on vacation together.
Oh, wow.
We met through Rando and became good friends.
Oh, so you guys didn't even know each other prior to playing Rando? Wow. That's super awesome. I love hearing stories about that, like where you find people through this silly video game and they actually become...
Yep. I would say he's one of my best friends now.
That's awesome. So where did you get first introduced to Rando then?
Okay, so one time I was bored because I used to play Counter-Strike and Rocket League, and one time I was just bored on Twitch and I just browsed the categories, and I saw at the time it was like PUBG most played, then Dota, League, whatsoever. And then I just scrolled down a little bit and I saw a link to the past. Why is there 3,000 viewers? It was some kind of Key Sanity tournament back then. I think 2017.
Okay, so super early on, yeah.
And yeah, then I just watched it and I saw someone's going to the hobo really early, and I saw there was a fire rod on hobo, and I'm like, wait, that's not normal. That's not how I remember the game.
Yeah.
And this is like my first contact with randomizers in general.
Sure.
I was hooked because I saw so many of that Keysanity tournament, and I was like, this is like a puzzle game, and it's like other people do Sudokus or have this crossword, whatever, or solve other mysteries and puzzles. And yeah, this was just so nice because this game is like meant for a randomizer. There's so many possibilities.
Yep.
And I was hooked. But I only spectated for 3 years, I would say.
Wow.
And I played really casual on my own, but not with a timer. And I would just play until go mode because I didn't like to beat the rest of the dungeons and climb GT. And
yeah, for sure. I mean, that's the hard part.
Yeah, exactly. And somewhat the riddle got solved when I was in go mode. So the rest was just execution, and I wasn't racing at that time.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was like, I watched for like 3 years, and yeah, just some casual rando here and there, really few times. And then a friend of mine wanted to see a randomizer for Christmas. At Christmas time, he was like, "Come on, dude, you play this Zelda randomizer, right? Can you play a seed for me and stream it?" So I did. And then Teto was there in the chat. He likes to see to scout new players, I think.
Scouting out all the new Germans that are coming to try to take a spot.
Yeah, and then he and some others were instantly in the chat and said, "Dude, psst, there's a German tourney coming up." Just in January or February. I think it was January 21. So yeah, I made a race time account on like New Year's Eve of 2020. And yeah, I joined that tournament. And I was in group stage with Verlaine. And that was basically my first opponent in the tournament.
Good luck.
It got close.
Really?
I pulled a hammer out of Swamp back in the day when there was no Specky clip and such.
Right.
I went for that Swamp play, and I got the hammer. But I remember because it was so close, and I felt really good with that hammer. But I last located boots for go mode, Desert Torch, Big Key, and yeah, Verlaine basically last location that hammer. But I had like all the hammer checks left for my boots to find, and
yeah,
it got close.
I mean, that's what makes the game fun, right? Like the fact that you could go up against someone like Verlaine as your first opponent.
Oh yeah, I was so thrilled.
Yeah, it's almost like a drug. It's like, whoa, I can compete.
Yeah.
You learn that the more time you spend in it, the worse that feeling gets. But it's a great like early adopter of like let's all compete.
Yeah, and we had a little triangle for the second spot in the groups, and I just got knocked out by someone who did the green pendant Helmasaur for the green pendant. He thought there was also an item on the boss.
Oh, and got rewarded for it.
And got rewarded for it with the Zumaria. Yeah, so I got knocked out of this German tournament, like the main tournament, but I did join the Rival Cup, and I did win it.
Wow.
That was my first tournament experience. Knocked out of group stage, but won the Rival Cup.
So what is that? I don't know what that is.
Like the German tournament for everyone who got knocked out of groups. And
is it kind of like, so it's like the Challenge Cup then?
Yeah.
I see. Okay. So you said you had familiarity with Link to the Past. Did you grow up playing Link to the Past, or? Oh
yeah. I have two brothers, one twin brother and one who is 4.5 years older than me.
Okay.
So he got this Super Nintendo really early, and I remember we had Link to the Past, we had Lion King, Super Mario World, and like all the basics. Donkey Kong Country.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this was kind of my favorite game for the Super Nintendo. But I mean, once you played it through, you don't really start another run, not like an NMG run or just try to beat the game fast. So once you beat it, you just put it away for a long time. But yeah, I grew up with it, so I played it back in the day.
So you had brothers playing video games too, so I'm guessing things were a bit competitive?
And not really competitive in like one-on-one, I have to beat you, I have to be better. Like on Super Mario World, we played like, it's not really competitive. Both try to play the levels and beat the game.
Right.
I mean, we played a bunch of fighting games like Tekken.
That's what I'm thinking. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, you play a little Mario Kart or something with your brothers. Things get a little heated.
Not Mario Kart, but like we had FIFA back in the day. So the football or soccer, I don't know what you say to.
Hey, you're the guest. It's football.
Okay. So yeah, there was a little bit of competitiveness. But yeah, also many co-op things. Yeah, my brother got, since he was older, he mostly got the consoles, and it was for everyone, but he kind of got the consoles, and he bought himself. So we got PlayStation all the way, PlayStation 1, 2, 3, and then he bought a PlayStation 5 some time ago. So he was always like having the consoles, and I can't really call a console my own except for a computer now. But
Sure.
But I could always play with him, and yeah.
So what about you said your twin brother? Was he playing games with you as well?
Yeah, but not as much, I would say. And always kind of different games. Nowadays he plays World of Warcraft and MMOs and stuff, but I'm not really that MMO player.
Did you ever attempt them, or is it just never had any interest?
I did a bunch. Like I did play World of Warcraft on a private server, but I mean it's not the same. But I'm not a fan of this monthly payment, and I think you pay for a game and you own a game kind of, and not pay every month.
Yeah,
I was not into this, so I didn't really give Warcraft a chance.
Yeah,
we used to play Warcraft 3 back in the day a lot, and also a little bit competitive. Like we played 1-on-1 with my brothers, but we did play 2-on-2 a lot. So yeah, also co-oping
in World of Warcraft.
No, in Warcraft 3.
Oh, Warcraft 3. I see. Yeah, okay. Yeah, that makes sense. You said you also played Counter-Strike. So was that something you did with your brothers as well, or is that something that you were?
It was something I only played with my twin brother. Yeah.
Yeah.
I have way too many 4,000 hours of Counter-Strike. So yeah, but I never got to global elite. I was in a group of people that still play today, but I kind of got Link to the Past out of this. Like I play from time to time, but not as often as I used to.
Which Counter-Strike did you start with?
I started with 1.6 from my older brother.
Yeah. All right.
But yeah, I mostly played CSGO then.
I played a little bit of 1.6, but then Source was kind of where I spent most of my time, and then never really went past Source.
We had like a friend of my twin brother who said, no, Counter-Strike is really bad. This new CSGO is not good. It's just bad. Really, really bad. And so we just never touched it. But I didn't think it was bad when we did after way too many years.
Sure.
We lost all that Katowice stickers, opportunities and stuff.
Isn't there a new Counter-Strike in Counter-Strike? What's it called?
It was CS2 now.
Yeah.
Yeah, it basically just updated and called themselves CS2 now. So you get to keep all your skins and all your stuff, and it's just a new engine with new smokes and new everything.
It's cool that they let you keep all your stuff, because I imagine if they didn't do that,
there's a huge market.
Yeah. It'd just be like dead on arrival. So it makes sense.
I mean, nowadays you can even free to play this, but if you want to do matchmaking, you have to pay, but really small money. Like it's basically free to play Counter-Strike, but the big money is on the skin market and whatever.
For sure. All right, so your kid growing up with your brothers, your older brother has the SNES, and he continues to buy newer consoles as they come out, Nintendo 64, PlayStation.
We didn't really have more Nintendo stuff.
Oh, okay.
My cousin had a GameCube and a Wii, so he's also living close by, I could say, and we visited him a few times. So we get to play Mario Kart there and something on the Wii, but...
So not on the regular then, right?
Yeah, not on the regular.
Yeah, okay. I'm trying to figure out, like, what's your relationship with video games? Because you don't own them, it's like your brothers, but I guess it's the family. Your brother's buying it, but it's kind of like the family's.
Yeah.
Is it something that you're doing a lot of, or is it just kind of a small hobby and you're doing other stuff?
No, I would say gaming is like a huge part. I do play handball, or I have to say I did play handball from when I can think of until I had a hand injury. So I was playing handball my whole life until in December 2000. What was it? 22?
Oh, so recently even.
Yeah, December 20. No, so it's been 2 years and a few months now.
Okay. Yeah, but I mean, that's pretty recent. Yeah.
So I broke my index finger and I got 2 surgeries on it and 1 year of treatment, and I can barely bend my finger now. So
what happened? Like, I mean, because you think of a broken finger, I feel like.
Okay, so I did a throw. I had the ball, and after the ball left my hand swung more forward, and I somehow hit my opponent. I don't know if I hit a blocking hand or his head or something else, but yeah, after that my finger was broken. So I went to hospital, and it got like an X-ray of it, and surgery was a week after. But yeah, I mean, I had a year of treatment and I did everything, and it just didn't work out. It's a little sad.
Yeah, you must have hit it hard for it to break that bad.
I guess. I mean, it was close to a joint, so.
There you go.
So it was a difficult fracture. Mm-hmm. And yeah, I mean, it wasn't really painful, and even now I don't feel any pain. I do feel stuff on the finger, don't get me wrong, but I just never felt really any pain on it. I can put pressure on it. I can lift heavy things. I can write. I can type. I can use a mouse, but like I can't make it straight or bend it really well on its own. But I can like use my other fingers to make it straight. That works.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Enough of the finger. I wasn't really good at handball. It was kind of my my go-to physical what do you say, like training and
sure.
Yeah. Like I did 3 times training a week because we got really high in handball. We got to play regional, you could say, like more than. So I live in Hamburg, and we got to play like all of northern Germany.
Wow.
So it was like, if you break it down, it was 4th division of German handball. But I wasn't really the big scorer or anything. It was basically just my sports for the week. And yeah, I wasn't the main act, you could say.
Sure, but you made it that far. I mean, that's pretty big. Like, I didn't even know what handball was until Ravis came on the show. Like, but it feels like it's pretty big in Germany.
Yeah, I mean, football is still the biggest sport.
Sure.
But since Germany won the World Cup in 2007, it definitely got a rise in attention. And handball is really competitive in comparison to the rest of Europe, you could say.
Yeah.
So Germany is not weak. Germany is a good force in it.
Mm-hmm. Were you playing football too, or just handball?
Yeah, so on the streets with friends, you always would go play football. And we had a weekly Saturday morning meeting where there was like a football field basically, but it was always free on the Saturday morning. So we always went there and could play. And that was also really nice. So I can play football, I would say, pretty well, but I never played it as in a team.
Just pickup games. Yeah,
pickup games, you could say, yeah.
Okay.
And there's also always football in warm-up for handball and stuff.
Yeah. I feel like, I because I'm American, it's obviously different. Like soccer and football is not the biggest sport over here. But in the European countries and, South America and where it is really big, it feels like everyone is into it. Like it's not just like, American football fans, there's American football fans or there's basketball fans, and sometimes there's a crossover. Mm-hmm. But it feels like with soccer or football, it's like everyone is into it.
Yeah, it's hard to find someone who doesn't play or like football.
Yeah, for sure. Even if you're like huge into it, it feels like there's still it's happening. It's just going to be happening for sure. All right, so you're growing up playing handball. You played handball in school too, or is that kind of where?
Yeah.
Okay.
We were in a pretty good school for Hamburg, and we made it to like we have the 16 Bundesländer, like districts in Germany, and we represented Hamburg.
Wow.
So yeah, that was really good. But again, I wasn't the main act of this team, but I was in the school. I was taking part. I was doing my job. Like, I wasn't too bad.
So when you say that, you're saying you're not like the best player, but you're more like a role player. You knew what your job was, and you did it well. Is that,
Yeah,
is that fair
exactly.
to say? Okay. As far as competition goes, were you super competitive? Are you super competitive, or was it? I don't know. Tell me how competitive were you?
Yeah, so in sports, I was not super competitive. So it was okay that I wasn't the main act or something.
Yeah.
I knew there were people who just got it in their genes to have the bloodthirst to go through every little tiny hole in the defense and go
right.
do everything to score. But it was all right. I felt bad after losing, and I really tried to win and give it my best. And I wasn't satisfied when I got benched or something. I wanted to play, but it wasn't the end of the world. It's whatever.
So it almost sounds like you had have a healthy relationship with competition then, where it's like, I'm going to do my best. I'm going to play the best that I can and kind of let the chips fall where they may. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, you could say that. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm way more competitive in online gaming.
That's where your real competition comes out?
Yeah, you could say.
I imagine that happens when you start playing like
Counter-Strike.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Because I've played Counter-Strike. I've played with pretty competitive people. I was never really that good at it, but I played with people that were really good, and it gets personal.
Yeah, you could say, yeah.
So as your brother is buying those consoles, you said you skipped some Nintendo stuff. Do you start then getting into PC gaming? Is that kind of as you get into high school and get a little bit older?
Yes. There were for big PC games, or the biggest are like Counter-Strike. I used to play a lot of PUBG when it came out, so shooter was kind of my thing. And yeah, I did play also lots and lots of Rocket League. And I had this grind with a friend of mine to get Grand Champ. That was the highest rank in the game by then. And I was good in positioning and stuff, but I never had the mechanics out of air dribbling and flip reset. Yeah, like all that flying super high-end tech I didn't really have. But it was enough for, like, in a 2v2, you don't really get to juggle the ball all the way into the goal and flip reset and do all that stuff.
Right.
Do ceiling shots. I mean, here and now, but not really often. In 2-on-2, it's other things are more important, like team play and positioning and rushing the guy in possession and stuff. But yeah, we did manage to get Grand Champ in one season and one season only for a very brief time to get the reward, and then my grind of Rocket League was basically done.
Was it too much? Like, did the game start to become unfun?
It was like a point where I couldn't really improve unless you do lots and lots of practice, and that wasn't fun for me anymore. Like, in order to get better than this, you had to do so much more grinding and go into the practice and do not play the game, just practice more on your mechanics. And I didn't really want to do that.
No, that makes sense. It becomes a grind, right? Like, it becomes not something that you really enjoy.
Yeah, I didn't really spend time in any practice tool, whatever. I didn't really practice in Counter-Strike. I didn't practice in PUBG. I didn't practice in Rocket League that much. And yeah, I didn't really practice Link to the Past that much. I do practice it by playing the game, not really in the practice.
That makes sense. I get it. But yeah, I mean, who wants to practice? Especially when you're not getting paid for it, right? Like, I feel like if it's your job, sure, make me practice, but it's such a grind. That's like why I never got really good at NMG or anything. Is you have to put the time in the practice hack and grind rooms, and it just feels like work to me.
Yeah, and like when I see, like, I failed in Hera for something, and for example, and I see I have this +1 minute, I could not continue because I know I didn't want to PB when I know I failed in Hera or something.
Right.
Like I get tilted a lot. Yeah.
You still have an hour left to go in the run.
Yeah, I don't want to have the run of my life, throw it away because I died in Eastern or something.
For sure. Yeah. So was that your introduction then to like Twitch and speedrunning, then playing some of those computer games competitively?
Yes, I tried to stream a little bit of Counter-Strike, but that I had a different resolution and that was really bad to stream and it was so ugly. And so I stopped and didn't really stream any of the Counter-Strike thing.
Mm.
I did stream a little bit of Rocket League and it was really fun. It was my introduction into streaming and I had a few viewers who specifically came for Rocket League, but yeah, they are not there for Link to the Past anymore. But it's fine. I did do a little bit of like highlight videos on YouTube where I put memes into some Counter-Strike highlights or Rocket League highlights, but not too much. I wouldn't say I did so much YouTube back in the day. It was more sharing it with friends I played the game with. So when we were in TeamSpeak or Discord, it was more like, hey, I prepared a little bit of a little short funny video for us with highlights. And so I didn't do it for YouTube fame or getting lots of clicks and become YouTuber. It was more like sharing a funny video with your friends and make them happy.
Totally. I mean, that's really what the internet is for, is memeing with your friends more than trying to get famous, I think.
Yeah.
So few people do it, but everyone can meme with their friends, especially when you're using something like TeamSpeak, which I haven't used. Gosh, it's been like 20 years since I used TeamSpeak.
I know, right?
I don't even know if it's still around. Is it still around?
It is, yes.
Okay.
And I had the soundboard with like 3 pages for when we scored in Rocket League to have music, like celebratory goal music.
Yeah. That's awesome. That's so good. All right, so you're playing video games competitively, but in a way that's more fun for you. You said you got introduced to Rando, gosh, so super early in 2017. How come you didn't want to race? Like, what was keeping you from racing others? Because you saw that there was a racing scene, right? You were watching the races.
Maybe I was just thinking I wasn't good enough for this. So I did play, and when the first time I put a timer on my rando run, I was still dying here and there. But I was very early. I was thinking, how would I do in compared to the others? And then I died in escape. And I was like, okay, stop the timer, go back up to this point and continue now. Like, how would I do if I didn't die here? How would I do if I didn't die to cold stare or something? So I was like trying to get a time without failures and see if that was competitive. Could I compete with if those 3 deaths didn't happen? Yeah, and I was still a bit far away, but I didn't practice too much. So when I did this one seed, I streamed in December 20 for a friend, and Teta was there and watched me. I just joined the tournament, and I also joined ladder, and I lost the first 7 games of ladder, and I just dipped right into it. And it turned out I was more competitive than I thought. I was surprised.
So I'm trying to put the timeline together. You saw the Key Sandy tournament, which was, gosh, what year was that?
2017, I guess. I was watching for 3 years without
ever picking it up.
Yeah, I was just watching. I enjoyed it. Like going to bed and have a stream on with the sleep timer on the PC, so the PC would turn off and just days away.
Are you watching? Because I don't know how big the German community is at this time in Rando in 2017.
Oh, I specifically didn't watch any German restream because I thought it was cringe to have this location. I mean, we say locations in English, right? So also in German restreams we say, oh, he skipped, but in German, he skipped Graveyard Ledge. We say, skipped Graveyard Ledge or sowas. So we call out the locations by English name as well.
Right. Right.
We also say Swamp Palace or Desert.
Yeah, because I'll watch, because I've been watching a lot of we're running the co-op tournament right now, and so we've had some asyncs, and I have to watch back through the VODs and stuff, and I'm hearing people talk that I don't understand what they're saying, But then every once in a while you'll hear a K45.
I know.
Exactly. It's like, oh, okay, I know exactly what they're saying at that exact moment for that one for those one words. But I thought that was pretty good. So you stayed away from any German streamers?
Yeah, I basically just watched some speed gaming restreams then.
I see.
And the first streamer I did watch was Andy.
I mean, of course.
Yeah. Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I didn't really pick up many others. I did watch Mikan, Mikan's Box.
Mm-hmm.
He was my favorite commentator and player at the time, but he didn't play that regularly, so there wasn't much to watch. So I did I watched his partner Willard. So Andy and Willard was my first really rando streamers, you could say.
Yeah. So how long does it go until you actually pick up a controller? Not necessarily to race, but to play the game. Was it a couple of years? And what makes you go like, oh, let me finally try it?
You would think it's funny, but on my way to university, I would have downloaded a few seeds and put them on my mobile phone and played in the train. But just the beginning of a seed, just the start, basically, Light World or a little bit of Dark World, and just do that puzzle thing. So I was into that, solving the puzzle. Yeah, I did this on the train. So when you go, so I traveled 1 hour to university, door to door, and there was lots of time to do, basically. But I didn't finish those seats because you don't have a tracker. You can't remember all the stuff, like what have you checked, what not. So just a little bit here and there. And
okay.
Yeah, but I don't know what was the main cause of playing it competitively. I think it was basically this. Tato joined my stream and said, "Hey, we have this tournament. Would you want to join?" That was basically my introduction into racing.
If that doesn't happen, you're probably not racing then, right?
Yeah, maybe. I mean, it was a friend's request to play that one seed, and Tato was there to, do you want to join the tournament? And
crazy.
So in preparation to that tournament, I did watch the German community. I watched like who are the other runners that participate, like scout out the opponents. And then I saw Brogo, and he was a really fun dude, and I just stick to it ever since.
So you just randomly found Brogor through wanting to find others, just by watching other streamers. Okay, that makes sense.
I mean, right after Tito invited me to that tournament, I joined the German Discord, and that was my first rando Discord I joined. And yeah, Brogo and I were hanging out in that German community Discord, just in the voice chat, and people would come in and introduce themselves, and basically we were hanging in voice a lot. Yeah. Memeing
it up. You guys were memeing it up a bit?
Yeah. Racing here and there.
I feel like my introduction to you two was through Gamachu. And it feels like, and maybe I'm wrong, you can correct me if I'm wrong here, that you guys just were memeing with Gamma a lot and just like constantly giving him shit.
Yes.
Is that true?
Gamachu is fun. So he's really, really good at the game. I guess you and everyone listening would agree. And
he's all right. He's okay.
He can play the game.
Yeah.
And so I like to trash talk a lot, and every one of us is a little bit of toxic, but in good fun. Like sure. I wouldn't try to hurt anyone's feelings, but like a little bit of toxic trash talk to get people motivated. Mm-hmm. not in hurting anyone. I don't want to hurt anyone by memeing and toxicity and
right. You're not memeing to be mean. You're memeing with friends, basically. Yeah. You know, the best way to do it.
And I think most people recognized me the first time was when in our first league season, Tato was just inviting us, Brogo and me, because we knew Tato from the community Discord and from the German tournaments, and he was like, well, both of my team members our team got split up, basically. He was playing with, I don't remember, but they just stopped playing at the time. So he was kind of, I want to play the league, and there's this league. Would you join my team? So, and since you have to be at least 2 people of a remaining roster or something, we had to start over. But we got invited to Invitational League in our first season, because I think season 4 had still some open spots left, and they knew Tato, and Yeah, we were just invited, and we ended up 7-7. It was all right, and in that season we did play against the Pucks, and I did beat Andy in cross keys in that season.
Wow. Yeah, I'm looking at it by just over a minute. That's pretty sick, dude.
And yeah, that was my first biggest win I was really, really proud of. And I think many people heard my name for the first time then. It was like, yo, did you hear? Who's this Magno guy? He just beat Andy in cross keys in the league.
That's awesome. So 2020, okay, so season 4, I believe, was the second half of 2020.
Yeah.
Is that right? Okay.
Yeah.
So you started playing like right before the pandemic, right?
Yeah.
Do you think that contributed to how much you began playing more and more? Or was it just because the community that you're a part of?
I think the pandemic, yes. And also that handball injury and lots of free time just made the perfect rando addict out of me.
Sure. It was a perfect storm of all these crazy things happening, and now you have rando and it's taken over your life.
Yeah.
So you quickly got on join the league. How long have you been running when you joined the league in season 4? So was that maybe a year of playing or less than a year?
So league was 2020, you say?
Yeah. I want to say it was like fall of 2020. And the German tournament was 2019, or
I mean, I did join the main tournament that Obscure won.
Oh, okay. That was 2019, right?
No, I think 21.
Okay, 21. Okay.
I joined main tournaments 21 ongoing.
Okay. So the German tournament and the league were the two first big ones for you then, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I remember in my first main tournament, I made it out of groups. I did have a tough group. We had Aussie, Latebit, and Hayfield. And it was that league where you got to know your mode 10 minutes before your game. And yeah, I just had a really good run there where I think Hayfield and I tied for the first, but Hayfield did beat me, but I beat the others, kind of deal. But he was first seed and I was second seed of that. And then I got knocked out by Illus in the next round, 2-1. Where I took game 1 and then it was two close calls, and I was a little sad, but that's all right.
I mean, Illus is a really good runner.
Illus is really good, yeah.
So I'm going to ask you a question I don't know if you can answer. I'm always curious about how the German community is constantly growing. And not only are they constantly growing, but so many good runners are coming out of that community. As someone who, hasn't been playing since, the beginning of Rando, you started, gosh, it's 4 years ago now, but 3 or 4 years ago. What is it? What's the secret sauce? Why is the German community growing?
So I think there was way more SNES games in the US. I think there were many people who played Link to the Past in Germany, but that's not all of the story. So many Germans know Link to the Past, but there's also this relatively big streamer, Denzen. You may have heard of him. So he's a big German streamer and he does Denzen dailies or Denzen weeklies, whatever. And yeah, he does play Link to the Past from time to time. And he also joined the German tournament. And I think we advertised the German tournament really well in the Discord. And I don't know, we have a bunch of German, I wouldn't say sub-communities, but little friend circles everywhere. And we just encourage ourselves to play better, be a little toxic. And yeah, we just grind and grind and grind.
Germany's pretty big, right? Like it's pretty spread out, and it feels like there's still, with it being spread out, that the community grows pretty quickly. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, you could say. There's even from Denzen, a lot of people who have never played Link to the Past before, but just see it as the graphic is good. It aged very well, not like other 3D console games. it's a really good graphic, and I think the game is just that perfect to get into. And with all the trackers and auto trackers, it feels really smooth, and you can really get easy into it.
But why are you all so good? That's my other question.
Why are you all so good? Okay.
It feels like there's just so many, like, because I'm not as plugged into the racing community as I was in the past. I play in the league and I'll play in some of the other tournaments, but I'm not racing daily. I'm not racing on the ladder. And so when I join a tournament or I start, doing the main tournament comes around, I'll do some comms or whatever. It's like all these names of German runners who are just really good. I've like never heard of them. It's like it keeps growing.
So we have many tournaments in German on the German Discord. Like we have the German main tournament. We have many sub tournaments or mini tournaments, you could say. Like I won the Swordless tournament. I think it was 1.5 years ago. We had a co-op duality tournament where one runner has to beat like a 5 crystal Ganon and the other one had to pull the pedestal. Like there's a bunch of co-op tournaments as well. And not so many mentor tournaments, but I feel like there's a lot or there's a high percentage of German runners watching other German runners and mentor them while watching their streams. So it's a little bit of grinding. Or there are many people who really like to grind and get good. And people would watch and give tips and tricks. Like Jem recently trained and mentored Muftai. So Muftai got really good. He was also mentored by Ario, basically by just watching Ario stream and be very active and really like taking notes. And Ario would come in and give hints and stuff and tips and tricks to Muftai then. Or basically anyone who is active and says, can I get some help? And then there's always some people who have the perfect strat, and like Holy Smoke has a whole side of glitches, tips and tricks, and not only for the glitching tournaments, but also for here's how you do icebreakers, some kind of tutorial stuff. And so there's tutorials you can access basically, and learn the basics and get good.
I think what's cool is it does really feel like you're all just in it together, more so than even some of the other communities. Yeah,
there's also a bunch of sub communities. Like there's this Schildkrötenfelsen, like Turtle Rock basically, Discord where they have weekly mystery seeds, weekly community races, and there was also a tournament of this sub Discord. And it's just hanging out, have fun, memeing, and
that's awesome. So your rise has been like I'm trying to pay less attention to wins and losses as far as like community members, because I feel like it's easy to quantify and say, oh, like this person's winning, that they must be interesting. But you can be interesting without being really good at the game. Having said that, you've gotten really, really good at the game.
I mean, you can see that between wins and losses, right?
Right.
You can see it in, let's say, averages or just when you see them on restreams. But I think it's been a lot of grinding the game.
Well, that's what I'm looking at. Like I'm looking at your ladder record, and if you just go to the front page of the ladder, you're second place right now, right? Like you're 23 points behind Mr. Ed. But then you go through your record, and it's not like you immediately got good. Your season 5 record, which was your first season, you're 3-8. Your next season, you're 1-5, 6-2, and then 15-6. And you see kind of this climb, the progression of you getting better and better. Does it come from just because you said you don't like to practice? Does it come just from playing the game as much as you can?
Yeah. I mean, I didn't really mind any mode. Like I would play any mode. I like key sanities, but I also like very just basic and open seed, and just I'm a big fan of open and standard seeds. I don't really care if we have starting boots or not. I also like frost keys a lot. Like it's so good. It's my favorite, but I just lasticate every time. And of course, it's in that one check you couldn't do when you found, like, you did Thieves Zone and found the small key somewhere else at the end of the world. That happens a lot. But open seats they can also have this, but it's less. And cross keys has like 500 left or right decisions. It's a little less in those open seats.
Sure.
But yeah, you said I started in season 5, and season 21 I got my first ladder champ title.
That's awesome. Open plus, is that right?
In season 20 I got casual boots champ, and 21 open plus.
Okay, I don't even know what open plus is, but
it's basically an open with hard item pool and pseudo boots.
Oh, okay. So when you get that casual boots championship, which is not an easy one to do, or the title for that season, how are you feeling?
I mean, I feel like nowadays the top of the top runners don't really grind ladder like I do. I do grind ladder a lot, but like a Gem doesn't always grind every casual boot season. He was really not playing that much in that season. So that's also the absence of Gem made me maybe have a chance to win this.
Sure. Yeah.
But I feel like there's like a Gamachu isn't grinding every ladder, every mode, every whatever. Zelga basically just plays cross keys, and only if work allows it and family and stuff. Yeah, big shout out to Zelga. I'm a big fan.
Yeah, I'm same here.
So I feel like the top runner don't really grind ladder, but it's what do they really grind nowadays? Because there's a bunch of tournaments. Like every Discord, every sub community has a tournament. There's the POG champion. There's some whatever mystery tournaments. You have the co-op cross keys. Many good runners join that one, but I feel like it's only those tournaments, and not like back in the day. There used to be the 76 people joined a weekly race on race time. I liked the mass races, but I didn't do so many because when I joined, it was basically ladder has taken over already. So the weekly races weren't so high visited, and it was basically just a one-on-one race.
Mm-hmm.
The only big mass races I had were the qualifiers, and you had to play them a little differently because you didn't want to get screwed by Hera Basement or one random off location. So you played more thoroughly, and thus you lost by 20 minutes to the top 5 or so. But
yeah.
You got a feeling of you got, let's say, 30 second or something out of 104 runners. That felt good, even though you knew you played it safe and everyone basically played it safe. But yeah, that was a good feeling.
I do think there's something to the fact that everything is now one-on-one. I feel like there's less of a collected community because of it, if that makes any sense. I feel like, when we had these giant races, we all shared in it, no matter what part of the community you were in. And now it's just all individual races, and you don't share that as much. Even if you're doing like something like the ladder, and like let's say 50 people join the ladder, which is not that common. Those 50 people aren't sharing the experience together. You're sharing it with one other person, right? So
yeah,
I don't know. It's just, it feels different, but I don't know. I could probably wax poetically about the good old days forever. Let's talk a little bit more about Brogor, because I'm just so fascinated the fact that you two were able to become as close of friends as you were, as you have become the last couple of years. What was it about Brogor that kind of like drew you to him? And then how did, once you guys became friends, was it like, okay, we're just going to co-op everything together?
Yeah, basically. I mean, he's really funny. He can be really toxic, but he's mostly in good fun. Yeah, he's just a cool dude. And we played lots of other games too. Like we co-opted, or we did play Far Cry together. We played PUBG, like not so much, but we did a bunch. We played many of the, you could say, what's the English word? Like games like Anno, Factorio, Satisfactory.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Where you build stuff, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Where you develop, let's say, a city or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we just share, like, watch movies together on Discord, being in the same voice channel. And yeah, basically, I mean, I came visiting a lot, and we did go on vacation together.
That's pretty awesome.
There was like this co-op tool for Link to the Past, and we did so many co-op cross keys where we had the ALTTP online.
Oh, yeah.
So when I beat Eastern Palace, it's also beaten for him.
Yeah, that is really cool.
He also has the crystal, and when I find the fire rod, it magically appears in his inventory as well.
Yeah.
It's so cool when you get the Zamaria when you're right in Misery Mire or something.
I agree. So you guys, obviously joined the league together at the same time and played three seasons together. You, like we mentioned earlier, you went to the finals. I know league's not happening again for a long time, so it feels like it's a hard question to even ask. But I imagine you're going to be running it back next year.
I guess, sure. I mean, we joined basically every co-op tournament there is, or I mean, not there is, but every co-op tournament we did as a team.
Mm-hmm.
So whenever it's a team competition, I go and pick Brogo.
Are you guys joining the new one that was announced? The one that Gamma and Shireen are running?
Oh, we have to get more informed about this. We haven't really looked into.
Okay.
So maybe.
You gotta sign up soon. I think it's happening pretty quick here. How did you get Tam to join your team?
So Tam was kind of a free agent kind of deal. I think Worthjig was having a break for one season and didn't want to play as badly. And Tam was basically a free agent. We asked in the German Discord a few people, but it wasn't really fitting very well. And we did meme a lot with Tam in the restreams, basically, in the speed gaming restreams. So we always had a good connection to Tam, and we just asked him. So we had a few people pending, you could say, who didn't really said yes or no up to this point. And Tam said, yeah, why not? Let's do it. And then we just played together.
I mean, the teams worked really well. You've killed it the last, especially this last season. But it's been fun to watch you guys. It was really fun to see make it all the way to the finals.
I mean, you could say it's always a little bit different when you communicate in English, but I don't think it's a big problem because we did so many commentaries already. So it's not really a language barrier. Tam can be really quiet because he plays at at times where other people would normally sleep, I guess, or his roommate when his roommate sleeps, and he has to be very quiet then. So sometimes it's hard to understand, but it's fine. We always got along, and we always could hear them.
Is it safe to say that you're enjoying Rando still? Are you're happy with your relationship to the game and your spot in the community?
Yeah, I would say so. I'm still enjoying it. I'm enjoying it a lot. It's just sometimes when you get to losing streaks, or when you think, man, I grinded this game for so many years. I somehow feel like I should be better by now. And this is a tough feeling sometimes, because when you see it, let's say for statistics, I'm at that ladder in total all time. I'm at 55% win rate, or when you go by seasons, it's like a little bit above 50% or 50 to 60. And I feel like I see others having like 80% win rate, 90%. I mean, you can't have that for 500 games or something. But
unless you're Zelga or Ramon.
Unless you're Zelga, yeah. So sometimes I feel like I should be better by now, but it's rando, and sometimes it's just like when I don't really watch my stuff back, but I get a feeling after a seed, that was a really dumb mistake. And I feel like I still do way too many of those mistakes you could easily prevent. Yeah, it's hard to turn that off completely.
Yeah. No, I get that. I get that for sure. All right, so the tilt question. How do you handle tilt?
Yeah, so I get really involved when I play, and I pull a really mean face when I get to last location and I feel like I'm losing and I did everything wrong. Then I get really tilted. And really pissed at the game. But I don't know. I can really shake it off when the game is over. I step away from the PC for a moment, and I can restart. I can say, okay, new game, let's go. It doesn't bother me too long after a seed or a match.
What about in the moment of like last locating? Let's say you last locate something and you get tilted and you make that mean face. Does it affect your play going forward, or do you feel like you're able to just shake it off there?
You mean for the next races, or in that moment of the seed?
That moment in the seed, yeah. Let's say you still got like 30 minutes or 20 minutes left in the seed still. Are you able to keep it going?
Yes, but I see how I perform less good. Like I perform worse when I hit the tilt point. Like who wouldn't? Once you're tilt, you lose like a full focus and execution drops.
So what do you do to help prevent some of that execution drop?
Yeah, that's a good question. I don't really know. Sometimes you just have to tell yourself your opponent does not God route, and everything that happened to you could also happen to your opponent. So, oh no, I'm last locating Hera basement. But yeah, I mean,
it's probably likely they did too. Yeah.
Probably likely they do too. Yeah, but I also failed my, let's say, water walk, and I missed out on the flute for 50 minutes. Yeah, I mean, that can also help. Or your opponent might die to cold stare. Anything can happen. I've seen so weird things happen, and safe victories got lost, and yeah, anything can happen.
Yeah, I have such a hard time with that because I'm always imagining my opponent God routing. Like I can never get into the mindset of like, oh, they had a mistake or they last located. I always imagine that they just immediately went to where progression was. A lot of times I'm racing Gamachu and they do that, so that's maybe tilts my understanding. But like when I played Hitsu in the league, I died to blind and I was like got super tilted and I started skipping stuff and I skipped one too many things and lost. And it turns out he died to Aga 1. It's like you just you know what I mean? Like try to stay calm and not.
And you feel like if I just didn't skip anything.
Yep.
And it's hard to imagine a strong runner like Hitsu would die to Aga 1, but anything can happen.
Totally.
And when you feel like, damn, I died to blind. That's so bad. That's like 2 minutes time loss. Yeah. Guess what? It can happen to anyone. Get out of script.
I know. So why do I need to just play my game and not let it imagine what's going on. But I get it.
So Brogar taught me one thing about getting into a mindset where you plan one route your opponent does, and you kind of have to believe that's the route they took. Let's say you get to a point and it's either dependent pod or dependent swamp, and you found, let's say there's a fire rod in swamp and there's a flute in pod or something. You have to like kind of stick to one mindset where, so if he did go pod, and I believe he goes pod now, I should be ahead, or I should feel okay by now by the seed, or yeah. Kind of have a mindset and don't change it too much, because you can have 5 scenarios in your head and he just always took the right turn.
Right. Unless you're playing Gamachu, and that's just fun.
Unless you're playing Gamachu. Don't
play Gamachu is the lesson that we all should learn. Dude, thanks so much for doing this. I really appreciate you taking the time and coming on the show.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It's been a great pleasure. I like to listen to your podcast. It's a great way when you're on the bus, when you're on the train, or even have it as like, let's say music in the background when you go to sleep or something. Many ways you can listen to podcasts too when you work out. I mean, I don't listen to it while working out, but yeah, it's been fun.
Really glad to add to the German members of the community here on 216. Really glad to have Magno on. Huge shout outs to him for coming on. Gonna have to go talk to Brogar now. Like, they come as a combo almost. And it almost feels weird just talking to Magno. But again, huge shout outs to Magno. Really glad he was on the show. And we'll have to reach out to Brogor and talk to him really, really soon. Next week, we're going to be talking to Josh Bittner. Should be a fun one. We'll see how that goes. That's coming up next week. May want to keep tabs on some other Link to the Past Randomizer podcasts, as you never know who might show up on one of those. So having a good time here in the Rando community. I know there's discussions going on about auto tracking in the TARC Discord. I haven't really read any of that stuff yet. Hoping to have someone just kind of give me the cliff notes of what's going on, but I think there's going to be a vote for auto tracking coming up. So check that out in the TARC Discord. I think things are getting ironed out over there with that. Yeah, I think that's going to do it though. 216pod.com has the links to the show as well as the Discord. Discord's the place to be, of course, following all the co-op tournament stuff. Again, hitting the sports stuff. We're kind of in a lull with the NFL. Go Chiefs. That was fun chatting with everyone during the Super Bowl. But we do have like basketball stuff happening. March Madness is just around the corner. Pitchers and catchers have reported. In fact, most of the teams have reported now. So watching all the MLB teams show up for spring training has been fun. Really excited about the baseball season. So I'm sure we'll be chatting about that stuff over there in the Discord as well. Yeah, just a fun place to hang out. So come join us at the 216 Pod Discord. And I think that's going to do it. Josh Bittner next week. Thanks for hanging out, everyone. We'll see you next time.